Jones deal, so it had to be.
I don't want him to get another yard.
You blitz all night. If they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm going to take every last one of you out. Jokic, long pass. Harris has it. And he puts it away. Oh, what a pass. Peyton Manning again smiling.
Going deep. Oh, and he's got Thomas. Goodbye. Touchdown. 63 yards, Peyton Manning.
Favre with Levens behind him. 4th and 6 for the 31. Blitz is on. Favre hit as he throws. Pass is going to be incomplete. Denver holds. Denver's going to win it. Oh, baby, they're going to win this thing. Are you kidding me?
Live from Lakewood, Colorado. Broadcasting from the Colorado Media School studios, it's sports with Staxxx and Shaggy.
You can stand up and salute in Denver. And you got the world champions that live in your town.
Coming up, we're going to be talking a little bit of Nuggets and some Rockies, mainly some Nuggets tonight. They're back at it against the wrong squad, against the Lakers. Excuse me. No, the ESPN has the Lakers a 60% win. They have them with the advantage tonight. So, who knows? The Lakers are coming off of a 3-game skid against the Rockets, Thunder, and 2-game skid. They lost to the Pacers. Yeah. They lost 2 of those games, more than 15. And, I think this is a good advantage definitely for the Nuggets. The Lakers look like they'll be having LeBron James tonight. And Nuggets, who a couple nights ago against the Thunder, their second OT game in the bubble, winning by 2 points, which down the stretch was, one of the most unbelievable games we've seen yet in the bubble. Donovan Mitchell, answering back. But the Nuggets able to close it out. And I think what really helped the Nuggets is when Rudy Gobert fouled out, and that took that X factor, that defensive X factor, gave Jokic a little bit of advantage. Tony Bradley went in there, and obviously when you have Tony Bradley against Nikola Jokic, I'm going to take Nikola 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, it was a crazy game. Donovan Mitchell scoring the last, wasn't it, 8 points for the Jazz, sending him to overtime, and then as well scoring the last 5 points in the first overtime, sending it to another overtime.
Yeah, and they were fancy 8 points. They were, a couple threes there, and they were some unrealistic, turnaround, fadeaway threes. Donovan Mitchell, who is the real deal, but we were able to close that out. That was definitely a well-needed game to late because the Clippers.
My bad to interrupt you, but that foul that happened was a 4-point swing. It went from us being up possibly 8 to being down by, up only 4. So that was a big transition right there, giving him a chance to open the gates to come back in the game and send it to overtime.
Yeah, and a well-needed win, as I was saying, because the Clippers, who had just lost to the Brooklyn Nets yesterday, now gives the Nuggets still, the door is still kind of open until, we're coming towards the last couple of games with the bubble. Nuggets 3-2. They'll be playing their 6th, as we said, against the Lakers, but now you want to try to get that second seed as much as possible as you can, and with the Clippers then falling games like that's the Brooklyn Nets, you have to take advantage of that for sure. Getting into another team playing tonight, the Colorado Rockies on a hot start, 11-4. John Gray will be pitching against the Arizona Diamondbacks. First pitch will be at 6:40. The Rockies, they're on a roll, man. And it's funny because as good as the Rockies have been, I was looking at the MLB Power Rankings off of this article on ESPN, and they only have them at 12. So it shows how much hope that, the national spectrum has in the Rockies. Like the Washington Nationals, the 4-7 Washington Nationals are ranked a ranking higher than the Colorado Rockies at 11. Which, is that a bash to the Rockies because of how bad or what, what the pitching rotation looks like on paper? It started the season off phenomenal. You have John Gray pitching again tonight, but I don't think anyone has been any better than German Marquez. So we can see what happens. See if the Rockies go 12-4 or 11-5. The addition of 35-year-old Matt Kemp has been, something through the first 15 games. Probably, I'd say the best moves that the Rockies have probably made in the offseason, leading up to the season, which was kind of, I think, more of a, I wouldn't say a head-scratching move, but it was kind of a very surprising signing, I'd say the least. You bring a guy who is against a division rival, and now he's making a difference. I mean, as a Rockies fan, you might have a change of heart for Matt Kemp.
Yeah, so tip-off tonight is at 6:40 against the Arizona Diamondbacks, like you said.
Tip-off? Is it a basketball game?
Tip-off, my bad. My bad. Bad terminology. But it's going to be starting at 6:40 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. They are 6-10 right now, with the Rockies actually at 11-4. It's going to be a very crazy game. I'm very interested for it. Hopefully the Rockies can pull off another one and keep going this win streak.
Oh, no, without a doubt. With the other, we're going a little bit more sour news away from the local. I'd say call it local, but the Big Ten and the Mountain West canceling their college football season, which is kind of rather shocking news, coming that they were talking about playing. No, they actually released their schedule, and I think you had something for us.
We want to play a Big Ten schedule. I hope that's what happens. Our university is committed to playing no matter what that looks like and how that looks. We want to play no matter who it is or where it is. So we'll see how those chips fall. We certainly hope it's in the Big Ten. If it isn't, I think we're prepared to look for other options.
And that was Scott Frost. Thank you to Husker Sports on Twitter for that soundbite. But that was Scott Frost talking that, they're a prestigious university in Nebraska and they want to be able to play their schedule still. And if they're not going to play a Big Ten conference, then they're looking at playing other, out of conference, which seems like that might be the case for a lot of these SEC teams, a lot of these Big Ten, a lot of these Power 5 conferences. A lot of these teams are going to want to play their college football season. I mean, they don't want to lose money. College. We all know how much college football makes these universities. They're not trying to lose this money.
Yeah, but it's more of a health risk than it is to the collegiate sports than it is in the NFL. NFL, you're professional athletes. Yeah, you have to watch over them, but college, these are still, in many ways, young adults, kids that you are liable as a university. That's why it's a lot. It's in both scenarios, in professional level and the collegiate level, it's a high risk, high reward. But there's a lot more risk in the collegiate level for sure if you're going to continue on with playing out these seasons, which canceling the season might be leaning towards the right thing to do.
It's going to be interesting. I could see a situation where after this year, we could see players start banding together to a players association in college football, because they don't have that. They don't have anything to, protect the players like that in college football. I could really see a situation where they're going to do something like that after college football is over.
And this is another thing why the NCAA is just terrible on the basketball, football. It's just like it's this kind of plantation mindset where they own these athletes, and then a lot of these kids, they get in trouble for trying to brand their name. And now I could definitely see a change in that. And if you have a players association, could we start seeing more players branding themselves? And I wouldn't say at least getting money for their name. You obviously see in NCAA video games, they banned those games because players weren't getting those. They weren't getting compensated for their branding in those games. So definitely seeing in the future if that could happen, it'd be a big plus side. But nonetheless, without college football, what's that do to the NFL?
Me and our co-producer Dan were talking before. The NFL could possibly use the XFL for like a factory or like a supplemental league, a league that say college football doesn't happen. Well, say these athletes that don't want to get hurt, that want to get paid but want to play and still give some tape out. What if the XFL is an option for them, and all these athletes go and play in the XFL, and the XFL turns out to be the NFL's supplemental league until college football gets going again?
And that seems to be a very popular solution. A lot of different conversations have been brought up. Should the XFL be sort of like a developmental league, like how the NBA have with the G League and whatnot? And it could, in a time like this, definitely be a very big solution. And I know you're a college football fan, Jake, it's not just what is it going to do for the NFL. What's it going to do for the entertainment of the sport of college football? You know, it's definitely taking away the viewership if you're only going to have one conference play, like you say, the SEC. They already took away the Big Ten. I know you were in favor of them keeping it.
Yeah, and they also took away the Mountain West as well to add off onto that. I could just see it as more dominoes effects falling. I don't want to have it happen, but it seems we'll just keep going more into the direction of XFL is going to be the supplemental league for the NFL, and I just don't believe and I don't get behind the idea of having spring football or having a spring season. I just think that's way too close to the NFL draft. I think that's just way too close to the NFL season and as well as the next college football season and put these players at risk. It's not high school or it's not like Pop Warner football. This is, college football. This is where they're trying to show their tape so they can get paid.
And,
basically they're interning.
Yeah, and these opportunities, they don't come around as much. Now you have guys who are in their senior years. This is their last chance. This is the last time they might ever even play on, a competitive team. So to take it away, definitely if you look at that picture and at that angle, it just brings all the more negative light to it. But we're gonna come back to you. We got some Nuggets talk to definitely get into. More NFL news though. We got a big day coming ahead of you, a big show for sure. We're gonna see you on the other side of the break. This is GoMileHigh.com, part of the Be On Air network.
If it's great radio you're looking for, then you're in the right place. Because at GoMileHigh.com, we have tons of shows discussing sports, news, politics, entertainment, community affairs, and much, much more. And don't forget, if you miss out on one of your favorite shows, you can always access our archived episodes at GoMileHigh.com on your own time.
If I'm here and you're here, doesn't that make it our time?
Save up to 75% off on apparel, footwear, fan gear, and more. With free shipping of online orders over $49, you can't beat these deals. Dick'sSportingGoods.com has your fitness set up for the new year. That was online at Dick'sSportingGoods.com. Stop by. Already put it.
Hey Colorado sports fans, you're listening to GoMileHigh.com, a student-operated station live from the Colorado Media School studios here in Belmar, giving you a different perspective on all things current.
Stop torturing yourself, man! Live in the now!
So stay tuned to see what's coming up next on GoMileHigh.com, Colorado's sports lifestyle.
Showing!
Go Mile High, your college radio for sports, movies, and games. Run by students, for students, and more.
Let's see what they can do here from the 5.
Sports news, live games, and discussions about just about everything.
Disney turning their rides in their parks into movies.
So close so many times, and to have that snatched away.
Come and join us every day for your favorite shows, only at GoMileHigh.com.
So I'm taking a trip over to Tibet, see the sights, climb a hill or two. But I remember, oh man, I got one guy out here who I actually know. So I give an old ringy-dingy to the Lama.
What?
The Dalai Lama, his laminescence, flowing robes, grace, bald, striking really. I says to the Lama, hey, you remember that round I caddied for you down in Shangri-La? Well, apparently some station out in Lakewood taped the whole thing. See, the Lama's a big hitter. Nailed 2 eagles in a row that day. Well, he says, what station could have possibly gotten all the way out to my sacred holy lands, the Shangri? I says it was none other than GoMileHigh.com, Lama. They got the best sports coverage in the state. The Lama actually tips me this time, 2-1. So he pretty much stiffed me again. But I got him hooked on GoMileHigh.com. So I got that going for me, which is nice.
That's great.
Go Mile High.
Colorado Media School, hands-on learning in one of the most exciting career fields out there. Internship opportunities are limitless. We have 3 on-campus radio stations, 2 TV stations, and you'll have the opportunity to participate in projects like doing play-by-play live from the sporting event or the 48-hour film project. We have after-graduation career placement assistance and financial aid for those who qualify. Check us out online at coloradomediaschool.com, on Facebook and Instagram, and CO Media School on Twitter and Snapchat. You can also call 303-937-7070.
Because of what we're witnessing transpire before our very eyes right now, you will ultimately see some kind of student-athlete association. You will see representation received on the part of student-athletes in the future. Because when you are a sport of this magnitude, raking in hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, and you don't want to have one definitive leader to lean on that everyone has to answer to, that has some sense of organization and structure, that is definitely looking out for the student athlete, when you don't have that going on and they're not getting paid, you've got yourself a problem.
And that was Stephen A. Smith from First Take, just his take on a little bit of the college, what was going on.
Yeah, it was a little bit of his take on no players association and what's going to happen and what's going to be the downfall of no college football this year. Basically saying, if we don't have college football this year, we could see, like I was saying in the last segment, we could see a situation where they're going to have a player association, or these players are going to want to band together and associate, and they want to get their rights. I mean, these players want to get paid. We already saw California pass that law. Was it a year and a half ago for UCLA and all those schools to get paid? I can see it. Where some of these other states start passing laws where these students can get paid, for being student athletes.
Now, during the break, you told me cue to a Stephen A. Smith sound. I did not think it would be him talking about college football. I just he's just not. Maybe an NBA break. But him, he definitely had an opinion on it, and I mean, a lot of people could agree with that. And as we was talking about in the first segment, all about, I think, why they should have a players association is, your marketing and your branding. If you're a young player who's not going to see any professional playing time, or if you're ever going to see any, anything at the next level, even at a semi-pro level, at least try to make as much money as you can while you're in college.
And it's the truth. And, that's going to bring it on to like what we were talking about in the last segment with the XFL. I could really see these situations where these players, they go into college football for 1 or 2 years, or maybe even 1 year, and they go straight to the XFL because they know that, 1, they have a better chance of getting to the NFL, and 2, they're going to get paid. So it's like that's already a win-win for them. They want to get to the NFL and they want to get paid. So why would you go to a university that's not going to pay you what you want to get?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It's a very risky business. As it goes to different. It could go to different avenues with coming up with a developmental league. I think what we could see in a lot in the future, man. In the next couple of years, we could see I can't even talk, man. Developmental league, just like how the NBA is doing. How players in the NBA are skipping the NCAA. Some guys are going overseas to play. I could see some guys, the collegiate level, maybe going to the Canadian Football League. Is that a solution? Maybe, who knows? And it's not as competitive, but we know there's some names of note that have played and have had some successful in the Canadian Football League. So, as we said, not as competitive, but that could be definitely maybe the way for sure for some of these guys who are not going to see any college sports.
I'm going to keep pushing for the XFL. The XFL, I mean, when that product came out, I just had a feeling that this was going to be, not exactly competing with the NFL because you can't exactly compete with it, but it could be a situation where these players are going to go out of college football and start playing for this league. And I'm rooting for the XFL. I'm really rooting for the XFL. I was rooting for it last year, or feels like last year, with Vince McMahon. And now with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson owning it, richest actor in entertainment history. That's insane. I love it.
I love it. And here's something I don't think the NFL world did not love hearing news about a couple young stars in the negative way.
Yeah, it's
So everything would be wide open. The sports world essentially would stop in October. You have hockey coming to an end in early October, basketball mid-October, baseball late October as it's currently scheduled. You have the presidential election. And so once you get past those sports and the presidential election, there would be a window of time of about 2 months where there would be nothing else on the sports calendar if college football went away but the NFL. There are no fans in the stadiums. There are no plans for hotels for fans traveling from other cities to have to reserve hotels. The NFL very simply could just move games to Saturday night, to Friday night, to Saturday afternoon, to whenever they wanted to completely control the sports calendar.
What do you think about that? Saturday night games, Friday night games. I like it. You only see Saturday night games towards the end of the season, around Christmas time. What do you, is that, I mean, my opinion on it, man, is it makes the weekend longer for the football. Now, if you're not going to have any college sports, college football on Saturday, it's definitely a time schedule. There's definitely a timetable to fit the NFL in there. And you can, I mean, the NFL is seeing a business opportunity, a marketing opportunity, and they're going to take it by playing games on Saturday and Friday.
Yeah, so again, our co-producer, our producer, Dan, was sharing to me an article that I guess it was Congress passed in 1960 that the NFL can't play games on Saturday or Friday to respect college and as well as high school sports.
Yeah.
Unless those sports don't play, but they have it in the contract to also play in the late December windows / late November windows and as well as January windows. So that's where they're able to get away with it. So what Adam Schefter and as well as Dan was saying is, with no college football or no high school football this year, the NFL could really rule the landscape and be like, hey, instead of 8 11 o'clock games, how about we do like 2 11 o'clock games? We'll do 2 games the night before. We'll do a couple on Friday night. We'll do a couple on Saturday, a couple on Monday. We'll rule the whole weekend. Because think about it, around October, the NHL, that's over. The NBA, that's over. MLB, that's over. Presidential election, that'll be over around that time. There's going to be literally nothing to watch on the weekend except for NFL games. So why not they just control all those slots?
All attention to the NFL. And if, like the NFL, needed any more attention than it already gets, I like it. I like it. It's pretty much damn near a whole week of football. Why not? I mean, a whole weekend of football. You had to wait Sunday. In a regular world, you had to wait Sunday. It's waiting around Friday, Saturday. Man, when you can just get the product on Friday, though.
Friday through Monday.
I even forgot about Monday Night Football. And then if you're having a Thursday night game, come on, man. You're not even having, only day of the week you're not having football is Tuesday and Wednesday. And that's like, you can fit in some of your fantasy lineup stuff or whatever the nerds do. I don't know. I don't do none of that. I don't. Do you play fantasy? My bad.
I'm
My bad.
on and off with fantasy. I like to play it, but obviously it's not piques everyone's interest. But played it last year. I got 4th in my league.
Do you play fantasy, Dan Turner, producer, our executive producer back there, man, our director? My bad. Whatever your title is, we're gonna figure that out. Having trouble with this radio terminology. No, man. No football Tuesday or Wednesday. I could live in that world. Football 5 days a week. Oh man, come on. They got to make up for that. As bad as 2020 has been, you got to make up with something. Give us football 5 days a week, baby. Oh man.
And can you imagine the slates too? Like, because they could still schedule where it's like, all right, you played Tuesday last week. Well, you're gonna play not Tuesday. Well, you played Monday last week. Well, you're gonna play next Monday, or you played Thursday last week. Well, you could go back to play next Thursday or something like that. So that way, there's not gonna be those things where. But there's not going to be those situations where players are going to be like, hey, I'm playing an extra long week or I'm playing a short week. Because you all know that players don't like it when they have to play a shortened week. I mean, I wouldn't either. You have to, play on Sunday and have to go right back to play on Thursday. But if they can set it up so you're automatically playing these games and they're going to at least have a week till at least a week and a day off, these players are going to love that, I can imagine.
And the only thing that could ruin this all is if we have
more Corona.
Yeah, and if the NFL does not. I think what Dan went on his rant last Tuesday. You got to take example from what the NBA and NHL are doing, and you got to take in favor of what the MLB is doing. They're getting bad results in the MLB with no bubble. NHL and the NBA are getting positive results. So I think if you want to make this all work out, have football 5 days a week, I think maybe getting in a bubble as well will make me the perfect combination of it all.
I still don't see a situation where they're going to get in a bubble, though. I just
Why not? It's the best situation.
It's the best situation, but there's just so many players, and it's so much bigger of a league than it is the the NBA or the NHL. There's just so many more players, and there's so many more moving parts per team that it's like, there's just so much to do, and there's there's 180 people at least working for the team, and as well as the 55 players. There's all these moving parts that you have to move compared to the NBA and compared to the NHL. I mean, yeah, there's all those players and as well as staff for those teams, but compared to the NFL, I mean, how many coaches do you have on an NFL team? Like 10 coaches on an NFL team?
Like 20. And then
seriously.
You got a coach's assistant, and you got an assistant to the assistant coach.
You got assistant, special teams coach. Like, what do you do? It's like, I just get him water.
Yeah, what are you even doing out there? But we're going to wrap this segment up. We're going to come back to you here back on a local spectrum. We got some playoff talk, and 3 of the 4 Denver sport teams are on a roll. And we'll talk about a little bit of their playoff picture and playoff implications when we come back. This is Sports with Staxxx and Shaggy.
At Chewy's, weekdays from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Fully loaded nacho car.
Nacho car?
Yeah, that's right. And it's free. You'll get chips, salsa, queso, taco, meat, and more. And don't forget to pair it with one of the signature margaritas. Only at Chewy's. Tex-Mex done right. Must be 21. Find a location near you at chewy's.com. Hurry in. 7 p.m. The trunk closes.
Your summer just got hotter with the $4.99 unlimited buffet at Pizza Hut. That's right, all of your Pizza Hut favorites for only $4.99. Monday through Friday for lunch, and Tuesday night, dive into limitless pizzas, pastas, salads, breadsticks, and desserts. All hot, fresh, and ready for you when you are. So much good food for so little money makes satisfying that Pizza Hut craving so easy. The $4.99 Pizza Hut never-ending buffet, all at a great price and ready for you today. Make it great at Pizza Hut.
Every day, across this country, hundreds of college radio stations take to the air, broadcasting music and programming that you won't hear anywhere else.
It's one of the last places where people can really be able to actually say what they want to say.
Without it, you wouldn't have a place for local artists to perform. Certain people need to have a chance, a fighting chance, and college radio is that place for it.
College radio changes the lives of those who are involved with it and can change those who listen to it too.
This is where we start out, from getting all this great experience working in college radio. It makes you want to work in real radio.
College radio means finding yourself. It helped me find what I wanted to do in not only school, but in life.
So support college radio by continuing to listen to this station and supporting the students who make it happen. College radio, now, more than ever. A message brought to you by this station and the College Radio Foundation. For more information, please visit collegeradio.org.
If you have ever dreamed about being on TV or the radio, listen up. Start your broadcasting career today at the Colorado Media School. You'll have the opportunity to work with and learn from actual on-air talent that work within the Colorado media. Within a few months, you'll know how to engineer, produce, and even host your own TV/radio show. I'm a current graduate, and let me tell you, the Colorado Media School has given me opportunities and internships that have helped me take my career to the next level. So apply today at the Colorado Media School, located at 404 South Uppan Street in Lakewood, or visit us at coloradomediaschool.org.
Your feet in the comfy day room or sipping on cocktails down by the river, you're sure to have a great time. Enjoy fishing, hiking, and hunting, all with the comforts of walk-in showers, private balconies overlooking the beautiful Cacharis River and Valley, and breakfast cooked fresh daily by the loving hands of the owner, Galen Smith. If you get hungry in the afternoon or evening, grab a cold one, good company, and grill out on the deck. Or you can come stay at the famous Dog Bar and Grill, just a stone's throw from the B&B. Book your room now at CacharisRiverBnB.com. That's CUCHARAS RiverBnB.com. Cacharis River Bed and Breakfast. Tell them Arthur sent you.
Thirty seconds.
I'm on right now. I don't believe you.
Hey, thank you, Rob Burgundy. I don't know why he's always here. Always ruining my show, man.
Hey, I don't believe you, man. Are you live right now? Are you sure?
Oh, I'm always live. I'm always live, baby. And, you know, what is live right now is the Rockies game. What we don't have popped up is we have the Bucks versus Raptors. We got to find a way to get the Rockies game on here, man. No, we got to. What would you rather watch, the Nuggets game or the Rockies game? Right now, Rockies are smoking hot. Nuggets.
But the Nuggets have a good young team as well, and they got a great, core around them, and they've drafted basically a super team almost. A young super team.
A young super team. No, the Rockies, they're playing tonight against the Diamondbacks 6-10. It's John Gray against the young breakout pitching stud of Ryan Castellani. First pitch was at 6:40, and actually an update on that game, the Diamondbacks are up by 1 with the runner on base. So right now, John Gray, not the most idealistic way to start the game, but the Rockies right now 11-4. This is, I think, beating, going above expectations, being probably the most overachieving team, is if you would consider all the turmoil you go in the offseason with Jeff Bridich and his saga with Nolan Arenado, and arguably the greatest third baseman of all time, and getting him kicked out of town. But he's on the roster. The Rockies are 11-4. Their pitching rotation has been pretty nice.
The surprise of the MLB. They're definitely the surprise of the MLB. So
no, they're we'll see if they could keep it up. It's 15 games out of 60. That's 5 games away of playing a third of the season. So if you can be at least, it's, as we say, it's the MLB season is a marathon, not a sprint. This year it's a sprint. So the Rockies, they seem to be phenomenal sprinters. They're not the best marathon runners.
Yeah, they can run the 100-meter dash really well, but when it comes down to running the 800, the 1600, nope, you can't be doing that.
And then they seem to start panning after about 20 minutes. We got also another squad in the playoffs. Well, Rockies not in the playoffs yet. They'll be in the playoffs. But the Colorado Avs, they're going to be getting it in here, man. And the team who I think maybe out of all, even over the Nuggets, have probably, the best, I say, chance to bring home a championship to the city of Denver and the state of Colorado. I never got this. Are you an Avs fan? You're an Avs fan, right? You're an Avs fan, right?
Yeah, I gotta support the home team, I guess.
Okay, I was gonna say, because you're a Patriots fan, and I thought you'd be a Bruins fan, and I don't know if you can. I mean, you have Sidney Crosby, all that, but we got
in my bracket. I did pick the Bruins to go all the way to the Eastern Conference or the Eastern, Finals.
Mm-hmm. All the way, like they're gonna represent the Eastern Conference in the Stanley Cup.
I don't have them. I either have them or Philly for that.
I don't know. Well, I don't know, man. I'm not the biggest NHL guy, so I can't give you the critique. All I know, though, is that the Avalanche are going to be the ones representing the Western Conference. They beat the St. Louis Blues. Mm-hmm. Come on, you
on a last-second shot. We talked about that last week.
You beat the Dallas Stars, a team that beat you 4 times this year, and you beat them, ironically, 4-0. They went on the seasons 4-0. You beat them 4-0. So, they definitely have under their belt some teams to note that they can just, flat out compete with. And I think they're probably, I won't even say a dark horse contender, a team you want to look out for. So look out for the Avs. They'll be coming strong on you for sure.
Their game starts off on Wednesday on 3:30. They tip off against ice off. I'm going to say ice off against the Arizona Coyotes, which they are the 7th seed. And again, the Colorado Avalanche are the 1st seed. And this is round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
And I don't know, man. This is not a position I think we would be expecting. NHL was the first team to announce that we'd be bringing back sports. So shout out to the NHL. They're finally getting in the groove of their playoff picture and their playoff setting. But with another team that's still finding its playoff positioning, the hometown Denver Nuggets, and we got Coach Michael Malone talking about how they can keep that going.
Just the effort. I thought our second half effort was tremendous. I thought the guys competed. We got ourselves back in the game. We gave ourselves a chance. They're playing for their playoff lives with all their starters in, and we've got guys that have not played a lot of minutes in the NBA, and we're giving them all they can handle.
And that was Coach Michael Malone on his thoughts about Portland after the loss Thursday night. That was Denver's second loss, and a game where they sat Nikola Jokic in the fourth quarter. It was definitely, I think, a game where you want to just kind of play load management down the stretch. You want to hold off these younger guys. It really threw me off, though, because you have, we're in a position, and as the same position now, where you can overtake the second seed from the Los Angeles Clippers. So playing down the stretch when the game was actually, relatively close, it scratches your head. And it's actually a funny thing. You remember Thursday night, the Phoenix Suns, they changed their handle. You actually, brought this up, Jacob. They changed their handle to depressed Nuggets fans because they were hoping that the Portland Trailblazers, we would beat them so we could put, the Phoenix Suns, who are red hot right now, to put them in a better position to try to find that 8th seed.
Yep. So that 8th seed is kind of crazy too as well. I mean, who would you rather have there, the Suns or the Trailblazers? But I'm going to go off on what Josh was saying on Thursday. Remember his little conspiracy theory he had?
Yeah.
I want to kind of, take that side. Because, I mean, if the Lakers aren't a hot team right now, the Lakers are kind of ice cold right now. If they play up against a team like the Trailblazers that has the firepower to put up threes when they want to with, Gary Trent, C.J. McCollum, and Dame Lillard, I could see a situation where the first seed gets knocked off and, we don't have to worry about the Lakers, or no one has to worry about the Lakers.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, they definitely would give the Lakers a run for their money, but the Lakers are going to finish off the Portland Trailblazers in 6. If we play the 7-game series 6, you have you have a healthy Portland team. Yeah, you got your Hassan Whiteside, your Yusuf Nurkic, your Zach Collins, but really down the stretch, Damian Lillard's like your only alpha dog on that team.
Well, you got CJ as well. CJ can perform.
CJ's not an alpha dog though. CJ's not a guy. Let me take over the game. No, he'll give it to Damian Lillard. CJ's more of a bail me out kind of guy. But how many times he's not a
he bailed him out last year in the playoffs against the Nuggets.
Yeah, but he's not gonna bail you out every time. He's not. And it's gonna be 50-50 with CJ McCollum. I'm not really high on him. CJ McCollum, I put in the same position as Chris Middleton, a phenomenal number 2 or number 3, not a number 2, not a number 2.
But
I could see, it'd be a definitely more entertaining series. It'd be more fun to watch Portland versus Los Angeles than it'd be, Los Angeles, the Lakers playing the Suns, or the Lakers playing whoever's not the Portland Trailblazers.
What if the Lakers can't pick up the 3-point shooting? Because right now that's the big story right now as well in the bubble, is if the Lakers can't pick up the 3-point shooting.
Man,
what's
LeBron James, come playoff time, LeBron James turns it up. And that's where LeBron James makes his money. You're talking about a guy who went to 8 straight finals. I might even be wrong with that number.
The last time he was in the first round, though, he played against the Indiana Pacers, and they went to 7 games.
They went to 7 games. He went to 7 games with the Celtics. But who was on his squad again?
I know, but he still went to 7 games.
Who was on his squad again? You know what I mean? Like LeBron James went to 7 games. I don't know where the Cleveland Cavaliers went to. LeBron James went to 7 games. So if you put LeBron and you match him up with Anthony Davis, arguably probably the best superstar he's played with in his career, come on now. He's going to run through these playoffs until he meets the Denver Nuggets and that 7-foot point guard. Come on now. They play tonight, so we're going to see a nice preview. We're going to see if they load management LeBron down the stretch.
Well, they already have the first seed, so I don't think they're going to be really trying these last 2 games.
You know what I mean? I really doubt it. I could see LeBron playing maybe 10, 15 minutes tonight.
And AD probably about like 20.
Honestly, they've been playing AD a lot. I could see him sitting though a little bit, actually, because they've been playing them more than usual, than you'd want going into the playoffs. So don't be surprised if the Nuggets, do get that higher seed, and maybe the Lakers are going to want to load management tonight because, give us a higher seed. The Clippers, who were only a half a game behind, you have the Battle of LA. You might want to manipulate the playoff seeding, give us the win, move us up the 2nd seed, drop the Clippers down to the 3rd seed, make them more vulnerable to losing in the earlier round.
I'm still going to take it as one of my hot takes that one of those LA teams is not going to make it out the first round.
Nah. That's a really, really hot take that it cooled down real quick.
I'll put some water on that. One of those LA teams.
I'll put some water on that, man.
Maybe
they won't. I got one of them won't make it past the 2nd round.
One of them won't make it past the 2nd round
because everyone's like, oh, it's going to be the Clippers or Lakers in the conference finals, and I feel disrespected when you say that because then where's the Nuggets at? How is it going to be the Clippers and Lakers in the conference finals when the Nuggets are going to be the finals champions, when they're going to be the ones carrying
I feel like the only reason they're putting them there is because Lakers and Clippers, they have people on their roster that actually have been there, done that. They have no one on the Nuggets roster that have been there and done that.
And so Magic Johnson didn't he won the championship in his first year. You know what I'm saying? Jokic, it's his time.
Jokic.
I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I just know Nikola Jokic, it's his time to get a ring. And this is the best opportunity. Come on now, man. Come on now. No, we got the Nuggets coming up here soon. We'll be giving you a post-game recap of the game. Here, my man Jake Shadler, Shaggy, a.k.a. Santiago Staxxx. We're going to come back to you after the break. We're going to have close it up with a little bit more NBA talk. Show y'all what's really good with it, man. This is Sports with Staxxx and Shaggy.
There's a side of aloha with every meal at L&L Hawaiian Barbecue. A unique style of Hawaiian place with 2 scoops of rice and a creamy macaroni salad. It's delicious for the whole family. Join our ohana or come party with catering and get the goods like recipe books, hats, and gift cards. Come to our 2 convenient locations in Aurora or one in the Springs. Or you can order online at hawaiianbarbecue.com. L&L Hawaiian Barbecue.
It's back. The $12.99 buy one get one only at Olive Garden. Try our creamy fettuccine Alfredo, hearty spaghetti with meat sauce, or our melty 5-cheese baked ziti. While you're at it, make sure you take a second entree home. With so many choices, how can you go wrong? And don't forget about our endless salads and warm breadsticks. Order online or find one of our convenient locations near you. Olive Garden. When you're here, your family. Your summer just got hotter with the $4.99 unlimited buffet at Pizza Hut. That's right, all of your Pizza Hut favorites for only $4.99. Monday through Friday for lunch, and Tuesday night, dive into limitless pizzas, pastas, salads, breadsticks, and desserts. All hot, fresh, and ready for you when you are. So much good food for so little money makes satisfying that Pizza Hut craving so easy. The $4.99 Pizza Hut never-ending buffet, all at a great price and ready for you today. Make it great at Pizza Hut.
So I'm taking a trip over to Tibet, see the sights, climb a hill or two. But I remember, oh man, I got one guy out here who I actually know. So I give an old ringy-dingy to the Lama. What? The Dalai Lama, his laminescence, flowing robes, grace, bald, striking really. I says to the Lama, hey, you remember that round I caddied for you down in Shangri-La? Well, apparently some station out in Lakewood taped the whole thing. See, the Lama's a big hitter. Nailed 2 eagles in a row that day. Well, he says, what station could have possibly gotten all the way out to my sacred holy lands, the Shangri? I says it was none other than GoMileHigh.com, Lama. They got the best sports coverage in the state. The Lama actually tips me this time, 2-1. So he pretty much stiffed me again. But I got him hooked on GoMileHigh.com. So I got that going for me, which is nice.
That's great.
GoMileHigh.com.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This is The Bubble Watch with Santiago Staxxx Salazar, here on Sports with Staxxx and Shaggy.
7 rebounds for Jokic. Alley-oop, that's too high. Oh, it's not too high! It's not too high!
And welcome to a Monday edition of the Bubble Watch. Back at it.
Let the games begin.
Back at it. Ain't no games over here. We don't play no games, man. We don't play no games. The Nuggets about to get into a game, though. And actually, looking at this lineup, the TNT pregame crew, got Vince Carter up there, Dwayne Wade. Hey, bro, I feel like I'm not old, but, like, it makes me realize, like, life is really, really short. Like, man, I remember these guys were, like, in their young primes when I was, like, 8, 9 years old. Now they're analysts to the to TNT.
It just shows that time flies, and it really shows that, like, you know,
LeBron's not far from that. He's not that far from being an analyst on TV.
Him and Carmelo Anthony, the only ones from the banana boat
Chris
that aren't
Paul?
retired.
Chris Paul?
Chris Posh is. Oh,
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, yeah, he's playing as well. Yeah,
He's banana boat. He can't. I mean, just because he ain't got a ring, you can't take him away from the banana boat. Melo ain't got a ring.
Well, but Melo's Melo.
Who got a better legacy, Melo or CP3?
That's
CP3.
That's CP3?
CP3. Come on now. Melo never made no play around him better. Like, yeah, CP3 was a terrible leader. There's not a lot of good stories around him, but if it wasn't for CP3, there's no Lob City. What, you're going to have Eric Bledsoe throwing lobs to Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan? Like, come on.
All right.
But because of his bad leadership is why they never went past the second round, why they never saw conference finals. But nonetheless,
there was also a stacked Western Conference throughout the time.
Yeah, there was a stack. But it's an argument for another time.
Another
like you
evergreen
said,
topic.
Another evergreen. But the Nuggets here getting ready to start against the Lakers, and they're showing a little bit MPJ. Some of his stats before the restart. Now, before the restart, 7.5 points per game. He's played 5 games since the restart, and he's averaging 25, so definitely improving. And this was the thing we were saying, this is in a regular life, in a ordinary NBA season. This is the time of year where players are getting better, where they're working on their game. And, for sure they're in the bubble working on their game. And I think we're just seeing first hands right in front of us, MPJ getting better day by day. They say it's a day-by-day process, but day by day, he just looks more fluid. I mean, you see his confidence. He's shooting 2 to 3 three-pointers in the first quarter. You saw a couple games ago against Portland how he opened up the game. The game against Oklahoma City. Utah. You was right, my bad. But, man, it's going to open up the game more for Jokic because now you have – I wouldn't even call MPJ a decoy. He's a legitimate problem you're going to have to worry about. Now, yes, only 5 games he's played, but over time he's going to be, people are going to start recognizing, that people are going to put him on the scouting report, and they're going to see that Nuggets have more than just 1 or 2 weapons. And we hadn't even mentioned Jamal Murray, who was he had
27 points and 12 boards against the Utah Jazz.
He was Mr. Clutch when we needed him. In a game where he was playing terrible, it looked like he was having, tired legs down the stretch. He was shooting air balls and just that Mamba mentality, man. He grinded it out, played till the end, and was able to close it out. Had that pretty fadeaway, which is a shot that he works on relentlessly. With all this discussion of Michael Porter Jr., it kind of signals out like people are kind of forgetting about Jamal Murray, and he sitting out 3 games. It's just that he needed that performance down the stretch against Utah for people to, for him to, make people remember who he is and that he's still on this team and that, the Nuggets could have a 3-headed monster instead of just a duo.
And to speak of this 2 men, the Nuggets just released their starting lineup on Twitter with Paul Millsap, Jamal Murray, Joker, MPJ, and Torrey Craig. So the same lineup that we went with as well as this weekend.
And Torrey Craig, a stud on the defensive end. Hey,
he was getting killed by Dame. He was,
but
Thursday.
Torrey Craig, he's your best defensive player. Is he Andre Roberson? Is he a guy? Now Andre Roberson hasn't played 2 years. That's kind of a washed reference. Is he a Robert Covington? A guy who's a 3-and-D. Torrey Craig doesn't really shoot the 3-ball relatively well. I mean, that's probably his best.
Offensive
attribute besides scoring under the rim, which is not really that good. His perimeter defense, his hustle. Michael Malone loves Torrey Craig. Just the grind that he comes from. I remember his first game. He was in on the last play. He was in on one of the most important possessions. So that just shows you how high Michael Malone is on Torrey Craig, and he's getting substantial playing time in the starting lineup in a game against the Lakers, against the best team conference-wise in the Western Conference, which down the stretch, you could see them load managing tonight. No, I mean I can. Now
I could see them load managing. I mean, I could see him load managing Joker. I mean, it depends really. I mean, do you really see a
I'm saying the Lakers.
Oh, for the Lakers, yeah. I mean, also for the let's say this for the Nuggets as well. Let's put it onto their side. Do the Nuggets see a realistic situation? Like if they win tonight and the Clippers they lose their next game. No. Do you see a situation where we're gonna, try to get that second seed? Is Wednesday that big for us? Then is Wednesday that big of a day for the Nuggets?
I would say, through my point of view, is you still want to get that second seed. You want to get the best playoff position you can possibly. And I mean, what Michael Malone has obviously proven is that he doesn't really. Anyone say he doesn't really care, but he will sit Jokic in the fourth if he needs to. He's gonna want to preserve him for that playoff run. But at the same time, you're only a half a game against the Clippers. And going on to what we said earlier, the Lakers might want to, kind of be a big meanie to the Clippers and have us win that game and drop the Clippers' playoff position into 2-3, bringing us from 3-2.
And moving on to another part of the Western Conference, since we're talking about seeding, the 8th seed is up for grabs. And we were talking about that this weekend, obviously, or on Thursday with the Phoenix Suns putting their tag at the depressed Nuggets, man. Those 4 teams between the Memphis Grizzlies, the San Antonio Spurs, the Phoenix Suns, and the Portland Trailblazers all are within a game of each other. Some of them are within a half a game of each other. So this Western Conference 8th seed is really going to come down to the wire, and it really leaves me to say, who do you want to see in that 8th seed playing against the Lakers? You heard my hot take. Who would you want to see? Because you heard my hot take earlier with the Trailblazers. Who would you want to see?
For better purpose, who's going to give the Lakers a better competition?
Who's going to give the Lakers the best competition?
The Lakers. Oh no, the Lakers are going to give the Lakers the best competition. No, the Blazers are going to give the Lakers the best competition. Who I want to see though, I want to see the Suns, because that team has been on a grind, bro. Come on now, I think they might have only lost one game. If not, they haven't lost a game in the bubble. They've only
lost a scrimmage game. That's all they've lost.
And Devin Booker, man, that whole team is actually pretty nice. You got Cameron Johnson on there, DeAndre Ayton, who's pretty nice, Aaron Baines, who's a nice vet coming off the bench from Cameron Payne, who is a long-lost journeyman. Everyone forgot who that was. That was Russell Westbrook's dancing partner off the bench from his triple-double year.
And to add off onto that, Devin Booker has never won 4 games consecutively in his career, and now he's won 6 straight games in the bubble.
Yeah,
it just, it's crazy because what I wanted to put in perspective is what you were saying earlier. I think it was last Tuesday, that a lot of these players, what they're doing now is what they're practicing usually in the the off season. So what we're seeing is a lot of these players new techniques, and it's really cool because you get to see all these teams that could be possibly surprise teams next year playing very well. Who knows? Phoenix, they don't make it. Well, we're gonna look at Phoenix they're going to be a surprise team next year. They went 7-1 in the bubble, or they went 8-0 in the bubble. That's pretty hard to do. I mean, obviously for a team that's not exactly as talented as some of these other teams in the Western Conference.
Speaking about Phoenix, what was your thoughts on that Draymond Green $50,000 fine called tampering, about him saying that Devin Booker needs to get out of Phoenix? Now, Draymond, he admitted it was tampering. I don't know. What are the guidelines of tampering? I thought it was trying to recruit someone.
Well, that's I mean, is he really trying to recruit him through saying he needs to leave?
I think he's just trying to throw more shade at the Phoenix Suns. Come on, get out of there. You're not gonna win nowhere, bro. Is he being a bigger brother now? He could be throwing some shade. He is the guy who, technically kind of got
under
Kevin Durant over there to Golden State. They say he was one of the reasons why Kevin Durant
calling him in the parking lot after Game 7.
So maybe because of Draymond's history of that, tampering or whatever you want to call it, maybe that's why they took it the way they did. The league did.
But why would because Devin Booker's a shooter, he's a guard. Why would they go in a situation where they would go and why? Why would they go and get 3 guards? Because they already have Clay, they already have Steph.
Kevin Durant was a 7-foot guard. They put him up there. Come on.
That is true. You already saw that earlier this year. Remember when they had D'Angelo Russell up there, and that didn't really work, and they had to get rid of him to get A. Wiggins? I mean, I guess D'Angelo Russell, Devin Booker, who are you taking there?
Devin Booker all day.
Exactly. I guess you could say Devin Booker over that.
Yeah. But like how you said, and D'Angelo Russell is a 6'5", 6'4". He's traditional. I'm gonna say traditional guard, but he's regular height for that kind of position. When you had Kevin Durant on there, when you had 3 shooters, he was a unicorn talent. You know what I mean? That he fit in that system because he was he could fit anywhere. You know what I mean? So if you put Booker over there, I don't know. I don't even think Draymond was hinting, though, that the Warriors should pick him up. I just think he was hinting more at that.
He needs to leave.
He needs to leave. But I don't know why you say that, because they're on a roll right now. They're on a roll, so I don't really agree with Draymond. Now, if they open up next year with a terrible record the way they usually do, then yeah, then leave as soon as possible, Devin Booker. But that's going to be it for tonight's show. Remember to check in, though, after the Nuggets game. We'll be coming to you with the post game. This is Sports with Staxxx and Shaggy. You can catch my man behind the glass at Jake_Shadler on Twitter. You can catch me at Amato_is_ballin'. This is Sports with Staxxx and Shaggy. You can catch us at the post game tonight.
9 to 3.
Yes, sir. You have a good one.